Yeah, he knows where he stands. He's a smart guy, and he understands that was some comments made a long time ago prior to a college football game. And the organization is fired up about Josh and what he's going to do moving forward.
That's Cliff Kingsbury, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, with us yesterday talking about Josh Rosen. And look, we have broken down this whole Josh Rosen versus Kyler Murray situation. The Cardinals, I think, do need to assess Kyler Murray and decide whether or not he would be a significant upgrade over Rosen. But until they decide that he is, they need to make it clear that Rosen is their guy, because otherwise you undermine Rosen outside of the building and, more importantly, inside of the building. You don't want there to be 2 months of Josh Rosen kind of dangling by a thread and the players to see that. And then if Rosen is your guy, those guys have to follow him. He's been undermined. He's been harmed by the fact that he's been forced to sweat for 2 months.
Yeah.
So Kingsbury's comments, to me, the full scope of the interview, and you can see it at ProFootballTalk.com, the full scope of the interview would suggest to me that Kingsbury is all in with Rosen and is saying the right things.
Yes, right.
Even if he's not all in with Rosen, he's at least saying the right things about being all in with Rosen.
Yeah, he definitely is. And to your point, you're right. They have to dance a very fine line in making sure, yes, if they don't go the Kyler Murray route, that Rosen is still, the face of the franchise or the leader of the offense. If you're going to try to create culture in a building, the one thing you can't do is undermine good players or high draft picks on your team, especially at the quarterback position. So that can be tough there. But at the same time, I look at Steve Keim, his comment there, he is right now, sure. Hey, I'm sure
they're
going
to play that. You understand how this show works,
We didn't
right?
play that yet?
No, we haven't played it yet.
Go ahead.
That was the break.
I thought we played it right before Kingsbury.
No,
I was writing notes.
We're getting ready.
Let's play that, and then I'll talk to that.
I thought you were going to be really slick there and throw to the sound.
I was
not.
not.
Hey, man, if he's going to do it, let's do it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I really wasn't like...
Go ahead, throw to the sound.
Hey, let's go to Steve Keim and hear what he had to say. It's really quick.
Is Josh Rosen our quarterback? Yeah, he is right now for sure.
Is Josh Rosen our quarterback? He is right now for sure. So much for the plan.
Yeah.
To support Josh Rosen.
Right.
And it's obvious what Steve Keim was saying there. He is right now for sure. It sounds like what Tom Coughlin said about Blake Bortles last week.
Pretty much. But, I think what you have to worry about in these scenarios with like a Steve Keim and how he's saying it too. Hey, I know they're going to do their due diligence on Kyler Murray. They're obviously going to study everybody at every position. But, the way he says that too, that might scare some teams, right? Because now they go, ooh, maybe they're not really sold on Josh Rosen. Maybe they are. Maybe there's a team in the top 10 that really does fancy a Kyler Murray. So now you drive up the interest. The Cardinals, and just in that there alone, can start to drive up the trade value for their pick, the number 1 pick overall, if they kind of leave it in balance that, we might still take this Kyler Murray. So Rosen is right now. Right now he is. So I think that was a very smart, planned comment right there to kind of get the masses to think, oh, they're not quite sold on Rosen. So and they might not really be, but he'll be able to sell that to the other side too, a Rosen, and go, I got to play the tricks of the trade here and try to get up the interest to help our team because we have a lot of roster issues.
Right, but again, you potentially undermine him in the locker room.
You do.
And you need to make sure that your head coach eventually explains to everyone what was going on here.
Right.
Look, we were never going to draft Kyler Murray. Josh Rosen was always our guy. We said what we said because we wanted a team out there that was interested in trading up for Kyler Murray to think that calling the 49ers at number 2 wasn't going to be good enough. They needed to go all the way to number 1. And from that perspective, it does make sense because for the same reason they need to evaluate Kyler Murray, they also need to smoke out all the best trade opportunities because then at the end of the day, you can make an informed decision. You've done your work on Kyler Murray.
That's right.
You've done your work to get the best trade opportunity out there, and you're on the clock now. You have unlimited time to do all this. There's no 10-minute window.
No.
You can spend the next 2 months. Is it Murray? Who's out there that would want to trade? What's better for us? What can we get for Josh Rosen? And the danger is if you start talking to teams about what you could get for Josh Rosen, that's when you run the risk that someone runs their mouth.
Sure.
That the Cardinals are shopping Josh Rosen.
Sure, right.
But you know what? That would be if your theory is accurate, that's part of this plan too. It's not just Steve Keim making a 6-second comment. It is shopping Josh Rosen because if I'm a team thinking about trading up and I hear that they're talking to people about what they're going to do with Rosen. That's when I take seriously the idea that they may take Murray.
Yeah, it's really a fascinating conversation in like human psychology, this whole thing. That's what I kind of like about this, because at the same time, yes, you want to be careful, but you don't want to anoint Josh Rosen as the king of your franchise either. He hasn't earned that to this point as well. Does Cliff Kingsbury think he fits exactly perfect into his offense? I'm sure he does in a lot of ways, but I'm sure he looks at a Kyler Murray and goes, wow, hey, my offense, I'm still getting used to the NFL. This Kyler Murray guy might be able to bail me out of a lot of instances when some of my college pass schemes might not be quite what I thought they would be, and now Kyler Murray can scramble around and do everything like that. So, again, I think they have to explain things to Josh Rosen. Don't be too overly concerned to how he looks in the locker room either. If Josh Rosen at the end of the day has to hear about Kyler Murray maybe going to Arizona and maybe being the guy there, and he starts to get down or not feel good about it, or feeling like he's in the doghouse to a degree, then man, maybe he's not the quarterback. Because if you can't handle a little struggle or a little competition in the building and things like that, then maybe you're not the right guy.
Yeah, because it gets a lot harder when you're out on the field.
Exactly right. You're going to have a lot bigger obstacles in your career than this coming forward. I was in a place with John Gruden every year where we were talking about drafting a quarterback every year. We were talking about signing a free agent quarterback every year. And at one point, you just got to go, screw it. I'm just going to come out here every day and work hard and not worry about anything else there is, and be the best Chris Sims I can be, and see where it takes me from there. This is going to be fun to watch. I do think Kyler Murray really fits what a Cliff Kingsbury wants to do. And Mike, Kyler Murray is the best quarterback in this draft. It's just, are you going to be comfortable? I am not moving off that. He is the best quarterback. For me, from what I've studied to this point, it's special. The only thing, his only flaw that I saw on film is when he takes a square hit. There was a few times where, he gets up slow, and that scares me. When a defensive tackle swallows him up, he disappears like a cartoon almost. It's very rare to see a quarterback with his size and stature in the NFL, as we know, and that's really what teams are going to have to become comfortable with at the end of the day, because I think everything else on film, it checks the boxes. Everything, Mike. I was so thoroughly shocked by how good he was as a pure quarterback. I can't tell you, let alone just the athletic skills and all that.
And this is where it becomes not just a football decision for the Arizona Cardinals. Look at where they were a few years ago. 2015, they made it to the NFC Championship game. They were in the process of becoming a national brand, something I never thought would happen to the Cardinals. I mean, not exactly a nickname that inspires intimidation, a mildly perturbed bird on the side of their helmet. Like, this is not a team that anyone is ever going to be following sea to shining sea. They were starting to move in that direction. And we've seen over the past 15 years, when they have a good quarterback, right? When it's Kurt Warner, they can be competitive. When it's Carson Palmer, they can be competitive. They had several lost years between Warner and Palmer, and now they're migrating into potentially more lost years with Rosen and whoever else. And this is their chance. I mean, and I think of the Browns. 2016, they could have had Carson Wentz. They traded down. 2017, they could have had Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, and they traded, and they took Myles Garrett, and then they traded out of the Deshaun Watson spot. Then they got their Baker Mayfield. I mean, if the Cardinals are learning from other people's mistakes, they may say, you know what? We got this new coach. It's a new day. This quarterback fits, and this quarterback is going to inspire far more than Josh Rosen did. Josh Rosen last year, kind of a polarizing guy. This Kyler Murray, I mean, people can get behind it. People can get excited about it. You can market Kyler Murray.
You definitely
can. Help you become a national brand again. And when you are in a division where the Rams look like they're going to continue to be very good. The Seahawks have Russell Wilson, and they are good. The 49ers, if they can never keep Jimmy Garoppolo healthy, they could be very good. This is the kind of thing that you may need to make you competitive in that division. And if I'm the owner of that team, it isn't going to be all that hard for me to get to the point where I say, you know what, we're rolling the dice on Kyler Murray. If it doesn't work out,
the business decision.
So be it. You can't be the guy who missed on the next phenomenon.
Yeah, if they feel that strongly, and they do feel like he's the next phenomenon. I mean, they sit here and go through this process, and they go, we like some of these pass rushers and some of these guys, but man, we're still in love with Kyler Murray. Then they do. They have to pull the trigger and draft Kyler Murray. That's all there is to it, because they'll kill themselves or drive themselves themselves crazy for the rest of their lives, realizing if they see Kyler Murray running around football fields for some other team, just dicing up defenses. But at the same time, what you're going to have to, again, become comfortable with is, hey, we're talking about Kyler Murray. He's up to 206 pounds, right? Is he going to be 189 pounds in week 12 of the season when he's worn out and he can't lift, weights all the time and he's just physically beat up that way? Is he going to lose a little speed in week 12 when he's been, battered a little bit and hit a little bit? And then all of a sudden you go, wow, well, now he has to completely play from the pocket and you lose some of the greatest assets he has as a quarterback. That's where teams are really going to have to feel comfortable and do their due diligence. But I'll say this much: in games that I watched, like let's just say Alabama in the Final Four game for the national championship against, he was not out of place. Yes, he's small out there, certainly, but his ability to see down the field in the pocket is much better than I gave him credit for when I was just, TV scouting or watching college football on a Saturday.
And speaking of Kyler Murray, he's going to get measured, he's going to get weighed, and the hand size, and I'm told there's confidence in the Murray camp that it's going to be above 9.5 inches.
Okay, that's good.
So we'll see.
I will say, when I shook his hand, and I am an evaluator of bodies, okay? You know me, I like to look at legs and butt, and when I shook his hand, I did not go, whoa, this is a really small hand.
Is that what you did when you shook my hand?
You have a decent-sized hand.
I mean, I think I measured it once, and it was like, my hand's bigger than I thought it was.
Right. Yeah, I believe that. And you could spin the ball a little. I taught you a few things.
Zion Williamson wears an 11. I wear a 12.
What?
Yeah.
Is that right?
He wears an
11? That's
yeah.
crazy.
Maybe that's why his shoe exploded.
Well, you
jam 280 pounds into 11. It's 11's not made for 280 pounds.
Yeah, we're not ready for that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.